You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. My name is Eden, and I invite you to embark on a journey with me to explore the practical and spiritual edges of the unknown for the purpose of allowing you to embody and empower yourself uniquely as you are and to intentionally create and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Each week, I am going to discuss topics such as energetics, reality creation, manifestation, astrology, tarot, and more to help empower you to live beyond perceived limitations and to practically design your life so it feels like absolute magic every step of the way. Let's dive in. Well, hello, brilliant soul. For today's episode, I want to share with you a concept that doesn't necessarily show up as fireworks, but instead lands in your body like a soft knowing, a hush. The idea is that it's worth it to come through something, whether it's the challenge, an obstacle, any kind of pain or suffering, rather than wishing it were different. It's incredibly tempting to wish things were different, especially because when that visceral feeling of despair hits your nervous system, you are designed to flee and to fight. I know for myself, I have spent many moments of my life wishing that it were different than it was. Wishing I hadn't made that choice, wishing that someone understood me differently, wishing certain relational dynamics didn't feel so sticky, wishing my body felt more regulated, wishing that my body felt different, wishing it were lighter, wishing I could fast forward through the discomfort, skip the confrontation, or just hit rewind and have a do-over. But over time, I have come to learn that wishing does nothing else but keep you in a holding pattern, a purgatory of potential, where you're never quite fully here, but you're also not where you're wanting to be either. You're suspended, energetically withheld, hoping for something to change before you change. In contrast, having the courage to move through your experience with nerve and to embrace it wholly is where the movement towards everything you're wanting and more exists. So what does it mean to come through? It means you bring your full self to the moment. You decide to meet the moment that appears, choosing to be with what is, instead of waiting for what could have been, or even waiting for what might be. And no, the choice typically isn't graceful. It's often raw, imperfect, and uncertain. But it's the moment where you stop abandoning yourself in favor of a fantasy that lives far away from your present manifestation. Not to say that the fantasy doesn't exist, because, oh my goodness, it does, and you can have it. But this all really starts with embracing and moving through each chapter and iteration of your life by facing it head on. It's where you say, even here, even now, I get to choose how I show up, no matter what is unfolding around me, no matter how painful, messy, out of sorts it might seem to me right now. It might mean facing the discomfort. It might mean telling the truth or softening into grief. It is the act of reclaiming your presence. It means shifting from reaction to response and from spiraling to sovereignty. It means embracing your turning point and realizing that your fulfilling, expansive, empowered life unfolds the moment you stop waiting for it to. To be fulfilled doesn't necessarily mean that it'll feel effortless, but it does mean wholly and truly embracing your life's path no matter the discomfort, no matter the obstacles, no matter the pain. And even more than that, it's about recognizing that each of those things are shaping you and carving you into the you you've been waiting for this whole time. Do you ever notice how these sorts of experiences in the moment feel horrific, but then they somehow make for the greatest memories or stories in hindsight? It's kind of a sense of, I can't believe that happened. and this feeling of feeling so excited to tell that story in hindsight. We must allow ourselves to embrace the duality of life, taking brave steps forward every step of the way. This is where you stop bracing against your reality and instead soften into it. And in that softening, a new kind of choice becomes available. You take responsibility rather than blame. You begin to create rather than cope. You are led out of your own powerlessness and into the moment where real change is possible, not because the external shifted, but because you did. It's showing up not because the circumstances are ideal, but because you are worth showing up for. Let me tell you what this has looked like in my own life. There was a moment not so long ago where I was sitting in my condo after a difficult conversation, the kind that leaves your chest tight, where the edges of your words still echo, and you're not sure if what you said landed the way you hoped for. I wanted so desperately to go back in time. I wanted to rewind. I wanted to explain myself better, if that was even possible. I wanted to know how the other person was interpreting it, how they were interpreting me. But here's what I've learned. No amount of wishing changes what was. It only siphons the energy from what could still become. So instead of spinning in regret, I closed my eyes, placed my hand over my heart, and whispered to myself, I choose to come through this. I choose to bring love forward. I choose to become someone who transforms this moment, not who escapes it. And that's when the inner alchemy began. Not within the circumstances per se, not in the other person's reaction, but in me. I stopped outsourcing my power to the past, and I chose to invest in my now. From a law of assumption and reality creation standpoint, this concept is everything. Because when you come through something, instead of wishing it were different, you are embodying the energy of the version of you who already has what they desire. Let me say that again. When you stop waiting for things to change and instead become the high integrity person who navigates everything and anything with wisdom, clarity, self-trust, and authenticity, you collapse timelines. Wishing says, I'm not ready yet. I need something outside of me to shift before I do. Coming through says, I am the one. I bring the shift. I create the meaning. I hold the medicine. And that doesn't mean that it won't hurt. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean it's not messy, but it means you're moving with life rather than against it. Let's name some of the most common areas where we fall into wishing instead of coming through. It looks like things such as wishing we had a different family dynamic, wishing our partner said the right thing to us first, wishing that we hadn't made the mistake, wishing that we had more energy or more time or more support, wishing that our career looked like someone else's by now. But let me offer you this. Every single one of those scenarios holds a door of opportunity, and that door doesn't open with wishing. It opens when you lean in, bring yourself forward, and you say, okay, this is what is. Now, who do I want to be inside of it? Because the truth is, there is no arrival point where everything feels safe all of the time and then you start showing up. The safety is forged in the act of showing up, in the act of putting one foot in front of the other. If you're someone who struggles with regret, overthinking, or playing past moments on a loop, then this one is for you. Mistakes are not evidence that you can't be trusted. They are invitations to come through differently next time. And if you let them, they can become your greatest teachers. But if you sit there wishing you hadn't messed up, you rob yourself of the gold, the refinement, the clarity, and the expansion. What if instead of, I wish I hadn't done that, you said, I see now what I was trying to protect in that moment. I understand what part of me was still unhealed at that time. I now know how to do it differently, and I will. This is you coming through. This is you transforming your own timeline. I would love for us to do a quick practice together. So if you're in a place where it's safe to close your eyes, then I invite you to do so now. And remember, safety is a priority here, and you can always return back to this part of the episode a little later if you need to. So take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly. Now, bring to mind a situation that you keep replaying on a loop in your mind, a moment, a dynamic, a feeling that you wish were different. Notice how your body feels when you wish it were different. Now gently shift to the question, what would it feel like to come through right here as the version of me who is already whole, already forgiven, already chosen? See yourself walking into that moment, but this time with presence, with breath, with softness. You don't have to know what to say, just let yourself arrive. Let yourself be there rather than wishing you weren't. Take another breath in and release. This is the rewiring. This is the real-time becoming. I want to close this episode with a personal reflection. There was a season in my life where I felt like everything was falling apart, and to be perfectly candid with you, it wasn't the only season where I felt this way. The people I wanted closeness with felt distant to me. My body felt absolutely exhausted. My confidence was on shaky ground. And I was filled with the sentiment of if only. But what cracked me open within this experience was this realization that even if nothing changed externally, I still had access to my own inner peace. I still had access to my own power. I still had access to me and the realm that could be cultivated within me. And I chose to come through, not dramatically, not in some big performance, but in quiet ways. I ate food that nourished me. I whispered kind things to myself, the kinds of things that I would want someone else to say. I looked at the people that I love and I said in my heart that I'm still here. I want to try again. And those moments stacked. They became a new foundation. And no, my external world didn't change overnight, but I changed. And that changed everything. And what I can say now is that in me changing, my external world eventually caught up. And even though I embrace the new landscape I find myself in with a warm heart and reverent gratitude, I was gifted the knowing that I always have my own back, no matter what happens. So if you take nothing else from this episode, let this be the golden nugget to cherish. You are allowed to wish things had been different. That is a tender, natural human desire. But you are also powerful beyond belief. And your power lives in your presence and in your endurance. So come through, even if it's awkward, even if it's late, even when you're scared, because you are worth it. And the life you're dreaming of, the love, the success, the ease, the belonging, it's not waiting for you to be perfect or to perfect your past. It's waiting for you to arrive here, fully, now. So that's all for today, brilliant soul. If this landed, I invite you to share this episode or send it to someone who you feel needs it. And if you want more support or inner tools, or just want to know how to stay connected to your magic, come hang out with me on social media or over email or any other way to get in touch. I'm rather fond of carrier pigeons or Hogwarts owls. Until then, keep showing up, keep choosing you, and keep remembering that you don't have to wait to become the one who comes through, because you already are. Until next time.